Hello, lovely student. Welcome to my lessons on text file, lesson 10. This lesson is based on a question on multiple delimiters and how to manipulate data using string functions and procedures. In this activity, quickly, you were requested to calculate the stock on hand at a car dealership. The owner needed to know how many Audi cars he had in stock. Your program had to display the number of Audi cars available in the dealership and their specifications. Note, you're not allowed to hard code this program. You must allow for user input for the user to enter any car the owner wants to search for. So in this scenario, we used, if you want to search for Audi A4, that must be his sample output. It must tell you that he's got 2 available Audi A4 and these are the specifications of the vehicle. Let's quickly look at the coding on Delphi. Okay, so let's look at some code. Well, I'm using the previous project where I displayed stock. I merely put a button and I call the caption stock on hand. So let's look at the coding for the stock on hand. I created my variable called tfile. I created a variable called sline, smake, and scolor. I've created variables called iModel, iPos to keep track of the position of the delimiters, iCount to keep track of how many vehicles there are in stock, and I created a variable K to keep track of the number of lines in the text file. Remember, we do not hard code for any coding to work for a particular text file. It must work for any number of lines in the text file. So K is going to keep track of the number of lines in my text file. My variable dPrice, I've created a Boolean variable flag, and I've created a string variable ssearch. I'm now testing if the file exists. If the file does not exist, I'm displaying an error message and I'm terminating my program. If the file exists, I go into my coding and clearing my rich edit. These few lines of code is to set my tab counts so that all the data is displayed very neatly in tabbed columns. My headings, my user input from the keyboard where I'm going to enter a car to search for. So this can work for any car the owner wants to search for. If the file exists, I assign my logical file to my physical file. I reset tfile to enable me to be in read mode. It sets the file pointer to the beginning of the file and prepares the file for me to read from the file. My variable called iCount is initialized to 0. So I'm going to be counting how many vehicles I have available. My variable called K initialized to 1, that will start on the first line of the text file. My variable bFlag is initialized to false, and I'm testing if bFlag equal to false in my while loop. It's nice to test, it's good programming practice to test the value of flag and to check if it's equal to false. I'm starting from a premise that I have not started searching and I have not found it. So while I have not reached the end of the file or I have not found my value that I'm searching for, go through the loop and read. I'm using readlin. Read from memory into S-line. S-line now has the first line of text from the text file, qualitycars.txt. I'm then finding the position of the semicolon in S-line. I've made some very nice comments for you students so that when you're going through the program, you'd be able to see exactly what the lines of code are doing. Okay, so I'm finding the position of the semicolon in S-line. I'm extracting the make using copy. I'm copying from S-line, start at position 1, and take IPOS -1 number of characters. I'm deleting the line, I'm deleting the make, delete from S-line, start at position 1, and take IPOS characters. I'm then doing the very same thing. So all I did was I copied and pasted these 3 lines of code again, because now I'm now finding the position of, instead of the semicolon, I'm finding the position of the hash. So I find the position of the hash in S-line. I copy the model using the copy function. I copy from S-line, start at position 1, and take IPOS -1 characters. It extracts the model. I then delete from S-line, start at position 1, and take IPOS number of characters. This line of code will delete the model. S-line now has part of a given string. So now IPOS will now search the position of the next hash. In S-line, it copies the color and then it deletes the color. Last part of the string that's left, which is the price, I then take the price which is stored in S-line and I assign it to my variable called dPrice. So this was actually the part of the question that you should have focused on in terms of problem solving. I am now checking if S-make, the make of the car, is equal to my search value. So this was the value that you got the user to input. You got the owner to input, or the user input from the keyboard. And I want to enter the name of the car that I'm looking for. And the name of the car, I asked you to do a user input from the keyboard. So I'm searching the make that I'm reading from the text file. Is that equal to the user input from the keyboard? If it is equal, then my Boolean variable flag, B flag, changes to true, is assigned true, and I increment my I count, which will keep track of the number of cars, how many cars of this make I have found in my text file. Note, I've used uppercase so that it's comparing case for case. So no matter what the user inputs, it doesn't really matter, it will ignore the case. So you could enter small letters, you could enter capital letters, you can enter mixed case, and it will still search for the same thing. I then display the make, the make and the model, the color and the price. I'm just displaying all the specifications for this particular vehicle. So whichever vehicle that you are inputting from the keyboard to search for. I then increment my counter because now I need to go to the next line of next line stored in my text file. So K will be incremented. You could actually say K is assigned K plus 1, or you could say inc K comma 1. So you could also do that, inc, and you could use K comma 1. So increment K by 1, or you could say K is assigned K plus 1. And remember, inc is a procedure. It increments the value of k by 1. Out of my while loop, I close my file, and then I just displayed the number of vehicles found. Let's run the program and see how it works. Okay, so that's your code. And that's the last part of your code. Well, let's go and run the program and see what it looks like. Click on Run. Okay, click on the button Stock on Hand. And let's enter a car to search for. So I'm going to enter from the keyboard Audi A4. If you enter Mercedes or you enter Ford, it must be able to give you that data. So let's click on OK, and there you go. Well, let's go and look at another activity I have planned for you. So let's look at activity 4. In this activity, all you need to do is use the same project that we've been using for multiple delimiters. You need to add a button, and you can call that Add Vehicle to File, using input boxes to get data for make, model, color, and price. You would do 4 inputs from the keyboard. This exercise asks you to add a new vehicle to the existing stock. So you're going to add to an existing file. The file already contains data, and you're going to append data to an existing file. I would like you to use this piece of data as a test case when you are entering data and add this new vehicle to the file. Enjoy the exercise. I hope you're really enjoying my teaching, and I hope that you're learning from me. Thank you, learners, for listening. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and follow me on my next video.